What's up, Legion? Steve Zapf here with I Still Call It a Lariat. We are a pro wrestling podcast. With me this week again to cover WWE. There is no TNA that we're covering this week, unfortunately, but he is my tag team partner. He is my PIC. That is right, Mr. Showtime Michael Wryght. How are you doing today, Mike?
Oh, you know me, Steven. I'm living the dream.
You got to, man. We got to be living that dream. Living someone's dream, at least. I'm living someone's dream.
You're living your dream here. You got yourself a nice little wrestling podcast.
Right, we got stuff going. We got stuff happening here. So, real quick, before we get into that pro wrestling stuff, we're going to talk about our nonprofit organizations that we support. Of course, as always, Tap Cancer Out, a series of jiu-jitsu tournaments that help out with varying cancer relief funds, such as Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabella Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Descent, and of course, Tom Coughlin's J Fund.
I want to throw... Even the Hound jumps in on that one.
Even Hound loves saying the J Fund. He's like, it's fun to say.
It's just it builds it all up. We joke here and there, but this stuff is all real serious, and we want to help out where we can. I want to throw in here. I know we didn't talk about it ahead of time, Steve, but the Chris Bay. I
do have the links for that in my description. We will have links in the description. I will also have on our YouTube page. I will add that link for the GoFundMe for that as well. And on our social medias, we have links for the Chris Bay stuff. If anyone who does not know this, Chris Bay suffered a very, very terrible neck injury and had to have emergency neck surgery. They have started a GoFundMe. I heard that Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge, donated $10,000 to it already.
Oh, wow.
So someone else said that if they hit X amount of dollars for whatever, like I think it's $10,000 for like t-shirt sales or something, he'll match the $10,000. Like it's people are jumping on this, and they really should.
Last time I checked, it was over 100K, which is great. I don't. Those of you who don't live in America, the healthcare system here is garbage when it comes to having to pay. Like, we have high, we have high degrees of competence in our healthcare, but it is expensive, and it is not in the situation. And wrestling has a history of having the best healthcare out there for people. So we just want to help people out where we can. Chris Bay is a phenomenal athlete. Well, we love his work. We've been coming on more and more to them as we get deeper into TNA. So if you guys can help, we don't ever expect anyone to help out, but if you can and you want to lean into these kind of things, we want to give you guys avenues to chip in.
Absolutely. And the last one that we have been supporting is the American Red Cross. They are helping in so many ways with so many of the different disaster reliefs. Again, this is another one I talk about all the time. Even if you can't help with money, they have links on here on how to help with volunteering time and things to that effect. My big one is a lot of their help has been coming in the form of the hurricane reliefs between Helene and Milton, and both of them were kind of bastards if you want to get down to it. Anyone who wants to take a look at what Asheville, North Carolina looks like right now, it looks like a war zone, and the pictures don't do it justice. So, folks, if you can help out with any of these, this is just, again, I know Showtime, myself, we're big on people helping people at this point. It's kind of the right thing to do, and all of these different organizations are very near and dear to our heart. But with that said, we are going to talk some wrestling. I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now. So first things first.
All right, LL.
Yes. First things first. WWE ID is a new program that WWE is going to start doing. They are going to start using varying independent promotions / wrestling schools to find prospects for both as a developmental system and to develop talent. I think this is awesome. I think this is a great idea This is very much similar to the old like OVW, Heartland Wrestling Association, but this might get some indie promotions some much needed exposure, even though a lot of them are already kind of bigger exposure ones. But this might be a situation where, like we had Kakao on, I could see House of Champions eventually getting the deal with them.
This, in theory, seems fantastic. But WWE has a history of doing things this like objects, and then the people who they partner with are a little worse from wear after it's all said and done with the talent leaving. If this is set up correctly and it gives the exposure, the glass half full approach that you have there, Stephen, I'm all for it. I think it's fantastic. They also have a tendency to go into places, steal talent, not give back as much, and then move on. That's kind of what I'm afraid of TNA right now, because essentially two of its biggest stars are already jumping ship, and it's making TNA feel a little bit like a developmental league, even though it's not. It's not at the tier of WWE. They've done this in a few other places. It's literally how they got their start back. What feels like 100 years ago when they took down the territories, sucking out all of the best talent from Hogan to Piper to Andre and more.
JYD,
everybody. All of the top talent came in. So I hope this is more of a developmental deal where these indies get the spotlights and the support, and these independent wrestlers that get the support that they need, because it's a hard life. It's hard. They say you're going to wrestle a 10-minute match for $50, and that sounds like a good pay for an hourly rate, I guess you'd say. But that doesn't count that they had probably driven 3 hours to be there. You're there at the show for about 7 hours. And then you go in there and you get out, and there's limited exposure. So fingers crossed. I don't want to be a downer. I'm not usually the one that's a downer on there, but like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So that's all.
The only reason why I'm staying as optimistic as I am with this is a different WWE.
Sure.
It is. I mean, for the most part, it is. Even how they're doing things just in general with business is different than how they used to do things with business, because you don't have one person running the helm. You have a true conglomerate. And I mean, at the same time, if Triple H and Nick Khan are really the main ones running things, they still fall a little bit under that Vincey idea. So I can see where you're worried about this. I'm going to stay optimistic about this. I want this to work out.
Here's your optimism. Here's the optimism angle. The people who they're teaming up with are all mega stars in WWE. It's Cody's league. It's Rollins' league. Booker T's league.
It's Rikishi's group.
So when you throw out a name like Kakoa, I fear for him. I don't fear for Cody Rhodes. So that's where I feel, but like that also in its own right, all this money goes into them. It sucks out all the talent from the other independent wrestling areas, and they all go to these places, makes competition harder, makes a handful of places better, and hurts everybody else. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to be a downer, and this has potential to be really great, but I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, but it might be better this time. You ever see a remake that was better than the original? So it happens every so often.
It could be anything. It could even be a boat.
All right, with that, so WWE ID, again, has potential to kind of swing either way on that one. I know one of the things you and I wanted to get into for this was the Nevermore, the Raven effect, the Raven documentary. I am really, really, really excited for this. In case you didn't hear me, that was really, really, really. That's 3 reallys.
Oh, yeah. I am pumped. So for those of you who kind of missed the Raven movement or just kind of had seen him on like the tail end, or kind of how he was misused at certain times, and particularly at the very, very end. The very end was awful. But for the real big portion of it, the WCW days, the ECW days, Even the early days as with Scotty Flamingo,
Scotty Flamingo was
fun.
Was a
like,
fun character, man.
Yeah,
and it's so weird because he went so brightly colored and then went so dark.
It's all of it is his career. He's probably the most underrated superstar of that time. Now, I'm sure we can make arguments left and right, whatever. But he's in that conversation of people because he was so. Sorry, I got animals outside. He was really one of those superstars that were out there that kind of had that unsung, had a really cool impact. He really brought the grunge era into wrestling to a certain degree, and so it's something that I'm really excited about. I think he's not somebody that's talked about enough, and you should definitely tune in for this one.
I agree, and he's legitimately like a member of Mensa. Like he's a genius.
Yeah,
he's like a legit like. I know even on the first show that we ever saw him on, he's kind of quiet too. He kind of like he's not rude. He just you can tell he's as much as he's a performer, he's kind of an introvert, and he likes to kind of be off in the corner by himself rather than like.
That's common. It's common for those people who take the stage. Maybe not in the wrestling world, but yeah, when we saw him on that first show, he was sitting in the back on a steel chair by himself, away from everybody, like in the middle of the hallway. Like it was like a strange place, like out in the open.
I think he was like reading a comic book, even.
Yeah, just out in the open by himself in a chair. And I say that not to make fun of him at all, but it was just like, oh, hey, look, there's Raiden. Hi. And like we went up to him, we said hi. He was very nice. Said hi back. Had a quick 30-second conversation like you do in passing, and then we went on our ways. It was but he always seemed like a cool dude, and I'm excited about this. And like when
I say it, I don't mean like he seemed rude. You just could tell he likes his own company type of thing. Mm-hmm. And again, it might be one of those situations where he is so smart. When you get in, like he doesn't know how to associate with other people as much as it seems. But I'm looking at what we
are taking complete liberties on a one-time meeting. We don't know him very well.
Yeah. So so I'm looking at the people being featured on this in this movie. Yeah, obviously Raven. You have Chris Jericho, Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, Rob Van Dam, Diamond Dallas Page, Bubba Ray Dudley, Tommy Dreamer, The Sandman, Perry Saturn's in it, Kevin Sullivan. So this is probably the last thing that was taped with Kevin Sullivan before he passed away. Blue Meanie, Shane Douglas, Lodi, Brian Myers, D'Lo Brown, Buff Bagwell, Sammy Callahan, Moose, and Scott D'Amore. That's a hell of a talking head panel.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to talk about Dreamer. I feel like Dreamer's going to be like the number 2 star on this because of their history and how intertwined they were for a very long time. I am pumped to hear from Saturn as well, because they had one of the more intriguing storylines in the WCW time frame.
In WCW,
yeah.
And
so,
I'm interested to the only reason why I'm not as interesting to hear from Sandman is I feel like they've touched on Sandman so often with that feud that like now you're just retouching on it. Although I'd love to see what Bubba Ray Dudley, who has kind of like come out the cleanest out of everybody, has to say about everything, just because he's usually not one to pull punches. But yeah, I'm really pumped for this documentary. I think this is going to be awesome. I can't wait for it to come out. All right. Showtime, you ready to talk about something?
When is that?
I don't think they have a release date.
Okay.
They just released the trailer. It just says new documentary on Raven is coming soon. Literally, this is from 3 or 4 days ago. I'm looking at I'm on Fightful right now. So I don't think they have an actual release date just yet.
You heard it here first, folks. Put it on your calendar as coming soon.
Coming soon. TBD. Write down.
Perfect date. TBD.
All right. Let's get into the number one professional wrestling promotion in the world. We are not covering TNA this week because the only thing that they did on TNA realistically was prep work for Bound for Glory. By the way, if you guys want, the Bound for Glory review link is in our description. Please check that out. It might be, I'm not sure where it is, but it'll be in our description on this one. Please check it out. We are kind of doing the most amount of work to cover TNA stuff, and guys, again, TNA is booming right now. Go watch their stuff. Their stuff is, and Showtime, you say it on our coverage for it, that Bound for Glory is probably a perfect jumping on point for fans.
Yeah, it goes down with every single promotion. They have their like reset of the season. Like WrestleMania is WWE's, and Bound for Glory is TNA's. It's the way it works. When you have this is the show of the year, it usually starts there.
Exactly. All right, so let's get back to WWE stuff though. First off, Friday Night SmackDown. Show opens with Randy Orton calling for a match with Kevin Owens, and then calling out Triple H because allegedly Triple H is not allowed, or the call to not allow Randy Orton's versus Kevin Owens is coming from Triple H, and he is trying to figure out what the cerebral assassin is thinking right now.
It's a conspiracy to keep Kevin Owens quiet. They're trying to push him because he's going to blow up all the storylines. Spoiler alert, Kevin Owens is not the bad guy in this story.
I don't think he is.
He's not the bad guy.
He's as we say of Johnny Lawrence, he's a flawed hero.
Flawed hero, yeah, take it. He's someone who's at his wit's end. He doesn't know what else to do. Here's feels like he's taking crazy pills.
Here's the other thing. I don't think that Randy Orton is necessarily the bad guy in this scenario either.
No, he's an innocent bystander. Innocent bystander. Randy Orton's never innocent, but
innocent-ish.
Yeah.
He didn't cause this.
Or is he?
Did he cause all this? I mean, he is the Viper.
Just saying. But it's hard to say that Randy Orton is innocent ever.
He's been happy Randy Orton lately.
Sure. And with that, the majority of happy Randy Orton is with Kevin Owens.
Exactly.
Just saying.
I like the reasoning that they give for this. I like the reasoning that Triple H gives for this, that Owens seems a little unhinged, which when it seems like you're taking crazy pills, you should seem like you're unhinged.
Yeah.
That Kevin Owens doesn't like anybody, and for some reason he liked Orton and Rhodes. And I like the reason he gives is, well, maybe it's because Cody Rhodes is the altruistic person he wishes he could be, and maybe Randy Orton is a terrible, despicable person he hopes he never becomes. I like that line. Again, we get a little bit of classic Triple H in this. But they do eventually set the match. It's set for Crown Jewel. And I like Triple H at the end of this being like, don't ever ask me for anything again.
Yeah, because that works when you run a company.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like the Kevin Owens storyline. I'm a little nervous about Crown Jewel in our review. If you haven't listened to it yet, I don't want to spoil too much of it because it's a really good show. You should check it out. It's great. Thumbs up from me. And I like to grade my own homework. I'm afraid that they're going to swerve us here, not this kind of swerve, and give Randy Orton the win there, because that's what everyone has been talking about for so long. And I think we joke that Triple H is listening to us. I don't necessarily think he's listening to us, but I think that he is listening to the fans a lot more, and we would be lumped into that group to a certain degree. And with that, while he's listening to the fans, that's what everyone wanted. The only one that's believable to beat Cody is Randy Orton at this point in time, and I'm afraid they're going to do that because they're doing a lot of really good work with Kevin Owens right now, and I want to see this through. I want to see them fix the storyline that they did with AJ Styles, because we're going through that pace again where it was let's shake hands. We're both from Georgia. Let's have a great match. To all of a sudden, AJ Styles is a heel and he's jumping him out of nowhere with his pastel jacket. And now that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen here, or it is happening here, but I hope that they land the finish better.
So I'm going to say it this way. And I know we talk about this all the time, that if like they randomly took the title off of Cody, like it would set a precedent and make his title reign a little bit more interesting.
Agreed.
I know Owens has gone on record saying he doesn't want to win a title again. Like he doesn't need to win a title again. I would love it if they like forced his hand. It's like, no, you're winning. Like you're under contract, you're winning the title. Mm-hmm. Like we want you to win the title. I think it would be so interesting.
It's just a hot flash in the pan. Like he's not even a transitional champion. He's a storyline champion.
Yeah,
like we're not looking for a year-long run with Kevin Owens, but like just show that Cody isn't invincible.
Have him hold it honestly at this point till Rumble. It makes it a little longer than a transitional champion.
Yeah.
It might be it's a little too long is my only thing with. Actually, no, because if he wins it at, sake of argument, Survivor Series or just after Survivor Series, have him go to the Rumble, which is only in February. You still have Cody as the world champion going into Mania, which is what you want.
Yep. I can see that. Yeah, that's probably the right timeline for it all.
It's not going to happen.
No, it won't, because it's the wrong time now. Like AJ was the right time to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, we've set up Cody as too strong of a champion at this point. Unfortunately,
it's not even that. It's too short of a time to build him back up. Like you lose one real quick, and then you come back and take it because you're building him to go up against The Rock or Roman at WrestleMania or whatever it is that's happening there. And with all of that,
or both.
It could be both, and which I'm not in for. I want to see one-on-one. It's just I'm just trying to let it all play out in my head as I talk out loud here. And like it was like AJ was the right one to do it with because of the time we had in the middle, or that he could have won it back. And then all these other title defenses were like, oh, is he going to win? He's already lost it once.
All right. So first actual match on the card is Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes with LA Knight as the ref.
Yeah.
This match pretty much turned into exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was Andrade and Carmelo doing some cool stuff, and then the match completely getting thrown out because LA Knight just decided he didn't want to be a part of this anymore.
Boo.
I'm over this.
Yeah, so I love a good series of matches. And if you're going to say we're going 7 matches here between Andrade and Hayes, you need to build it a little bigger. They didn't get one pay-per-view style match. They didn't finish it. So we went through all of this stuff to get a 3-way at Crown Jewel. Cool. Thanks for wasting my time. I like this in theory. It could be done really well. You want to build both of these guys up. Andrade and Hayes deserve a little bit of the spotlight and built up as mid-carder in a way that they don't typically do. It was just done poorly, and LA Knight's going to win. Sorry.
LA Knight's going to win.
If you haven't listened to the predictions, that's fine. I'm sorry. That's the only one I don't mind ruining for because this.
And then to further another storyline, we get Naomi versus Candice LeRae, and this is after Candy here took over Tiffy's spot last week while she was sick. Mm-hmm. And it seems like Nia is showing a little bit of favoritism towards Candice LeRae and kind of gave a little bit of the snide comments to Tiffany backstage beforehand, which just kind of more leads into the eventual breakup of the two of them, because neither one of them, even more so than just that they're going to double cross each other, I feel like they're at the point where neither one should or needs to share the spotlight with the other one.
I wish this match was a little better. And I say that because I like these competitors. I really like Naomi. They just like they really got to get her just like around the edges, and so because I think she could be like a real star and like a real competitor in general. And I feel like she's just like half a step behind that top tier. And like I love her look. I love like what she tries to do. I like the style. And like in Candice LeRae is another one who I could see that in a really good way of building up, even if it's building up that secondary mid card, upper mid card people, because this match could have been like A minus with the two of them going at all. Like if it was produced a little bit better, I think with the run-ins, with the storylines. So I like the little push that they gave Candice so far. I don't know what's going on necessarily with her and Indy Hartwell because like they don't know what's going on with her and Indy Hartwell, but I know I'm kind of circling this one. I apologize, but like this is what like that's the whole women's division, right? Like outside of Tiffy and Nia in SmackDown, and outside of the top tier people in Raw, all the other women are kind of the openers. It feels like
they're just
I don't think it's a fair. Like I don't think it's a fair thing. We only get one women's match, and it's always like, oh yeah, look, that's a women's match, and then we move on
with all of them, with every woman.
Yeah, it's not like they're doing that in at Crown Jewel as well. Oh yeah, there's 8 of them in that match.
So I will say this. This is probably the best match I've seen at least Naomi have since she's come back. The other thing with Naomi is I don't want to make excuses for her, but I'm going to make an excuse for her. Naomi, before she left WWE the first time, was the best, kind of the best all-around athlete that the WWE had at the time. Now then, since then, one, I hate to say it like this, but everyone gets a little older. You lose half a step here or there. But she's also had a couple injuries here and there. And I think she's not quite... I think she's trying to operate at the speed that she used to operate at. And she doesn't have that ability. I liken it to... I realize that this is an extreme case, but I liken it to Mike Tyson. Still thinking it was Mike Tyson from 20 years ago in that first fight with Roy Jones Jr. And his punches lost a tenth of a second. Well, a tenth of a second is a lifetime in boxing. So if you think that you can move, if you think you can still run a 4.340, but you can only run a 4.540, it changes everything. And I think she needs to wrestle with the body she has, not the body she had. So, if that makes sense. And I'm not, and I'm like, and again, I think a lot of this comes down to, I'm actually blaming more some of the injuries she's had than anything else.
You might be completely right, but I blame more of the producing of this division than her, because there should be coaches in the back that help her continue to find her style, adapt where she needs to, watching that match and saying, hey, this was a little slow, let's try it this way. Going on in the background, a little bit more coaching. And maybe I just think there's more coaching happening in the background than there really is. But if there's not, it should be. And
there should be. Like, you have agents and producers and stuff, like, they should be
exactly
there. They should be taking care of this.
And they should be really looking at her as someone to not only put over people, but to step into that. I don't see her as the long-term champion right now, but I see her as that next one in line always, where she will eventually get that spot again and come back out. Whereas in people like Rhea or Becky, they're like the top, or the Tiffany's going to be the next one that's going to be on that top tier. And I just think in some of these things, the more you have matches like this one where it could have been just that bit better, the more it's going to diminish and tarnish what she's going to be next. So exactly. That's all. I really like Naomi, to be honest with you, and I want to see more.
You want better for her. Next segment is Cody calls out Gunther to talk about Crown Jewel and that gaudy, obnoxious title. It's obnoxious. I know Hound wants it so badly, but
yeah,
that title. That's because that title would look like a normal title around him.
So it's fine. He's finally made it.
He's finally done it. So this interaction starts off pretty civil, and then Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser lay out Cody. Here's the thing that kind of goes back to everything we keep saying. Cody starts this. And we're believing that Gunther is the bad guy because, well, he's kind of a jerk.
He's a bad guy. Sorry.
Yeah,
he's a
Gunther
jerk.
is a bad guy.
He doesn't care about it. He's calling people street trash. He's
him.
coming out and telling people that they're secondary champions. I'm really curious what's going on. I won't spoil our predictions for Crown Jewel for this match particularly, but it's going to be really interesting. If Gunther wins, that makes Cody the undisputed Universal WWE champion. Did I get that right? Is that
yes?
Is that what he would be?
I would
the disputed, undisputed Universal WWE championship.
Yes. They need to add that to it. Lillian Garcia jump on that.
Yeah, like that. Good luck with that one. That took me a while to piece that one together. So like, yeah, let's see how it goes. The go home math here says something a little bit different for me, but I'm excited about this match for Crown Jewel. I like the build. I wish it meant something. I think Hound says it in the predictions, or you did, that this whole PLE feels a little non-canon.
Yeah, Hound says it. Like, if all this was like non-canon, this would be perfect. I don't know, just everything about Crown Jewel is just kind of, it always like seems misplaced.
Yeah.
Like everything's out of step with it. But it is what it is. Get that money, bro. We get a phenomenal wrestling match. DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. I've been looking forward to this since we knew this was happening last week. This match was awesome. It was exactly what I wanted it to be. It was the Motor City Machine Guns versus kind of the best version of DIY. I liked this story of Gargano and Alex Shelley having this respect and this friendship from way back, and Ciampa being Ciampa and being like, I kind of don't care. You guys are good, and I respect you for being the wrestlers that you are. But I'm Tommaso Ciampa. I'm kind of a psychopath, and I kind of want to run through you sometimes. And I like that we got good wrestling. I like that we got some hard-hitting stuff. And I like the overall outcome of this, which was Machine Guns end up taking it, and then we get the Bloodline coming out and forcing them to take the match right then and there. Here's the only thing I don't like about what Solo's been doing. Solo has been doing like cute and funny lately, and I need him to not be cute and funny. I need Solo to be menacing. So like when he did like the joking spot with Jay and everyone laughed about it, and he was like, "You're over here," like, and everyone thought it was funny. I don't want him to be funny, and it doesn't give me a positive outlook for it. When he was like, "We'll take you anytime," and no, like that's like you're being funny. Like I hate to say it, but like The Rock being funny is different than this. And like
I agree. I think they need a wise man, not Paul Heyman, obviously, but they need someone.
Don Callis.
I was thinking that as well, but it's a little difficult right now. But I hear the Jackal is available.
The Jackal is available.
I don't know who it is, but there should be someone that could be a little bit more of a mouthpiece, even like not to shut up Solo, because I think he should continue to develop his own voice. I agree, this is not his voice. He needs to be more menacing. He is the ultra bad guy. You had Roman being that ultra bad guy for 4 years, and now you're trying to out bad guy the bad guy. And being funny and silly is not the way about it. So, I fully agree.
I like that we got the titles off the Bloodline. I like that they're on a real tag team. I like that we did it. You know, Jay paid back everybody for making him lose the IC title, so he came out and cost Bloodline the belt, and we get the embrace of the Usos.
It's funny. Who could have ever seen that being the way it went down? Yeah, we said it last week.
Yeah, we literally said these exact words.
This is exactly this. I keep saying it. It writes itself. I think I said it about this exact situation. This one wrote itself.
Yes, exactly. But that was SmackDown. We get the end of it with the Motor City Machine Guns and the Usos standing tall. Bloodline takes another L, which again, we can't keep giving the new Bloodline L's, or else they're just ineffective.
This one made sense. This was tit for tat, where you costed Jay the IC title, so now I cost you the tag team titles. This was exactly the right way to go about it. I'm glad they did this. I hope we can get Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa to actually work as a team as they were supposed to. I don't fully know what's going on in that messy dynamic, because I want Jacob Fatu to be a singles person. I don't need him in a tag team. I need him to go out there. I want to see him against Brian Breaker, or I want to see him again. I know it's the wrong show, or I want to see him against LA Knight. Yeah. In like, even if he doesn't win some belts, but through nefarious ways, like I would love to see him, Jacob Fatu, to come out and be so vicious that after he's about to beat someone, he's disqualified for going too far. Like he is just
that's consistently what I want. That's consistently what I want. Again, like I said, I just feel like the Bloodline in general are not. I don't know. I feel like they're not being presented properly right now, and they're going to. I don't know. Like I said, they need a W soon. They need a real W. So I won't get. We haven't been talking about predictions over on Crown Jewel, but they do have the match, Old Bloodline versus New Bloodline. But let's move over to what is considered the A show, and that is Monday Night Raw. So over on Raw, the show opens with Jey Uso, who is still so over. So over. I'm doing it. Yeet, yeet, yeet. He gets joined by Jimmy. And I gotta say, man, I love this interaction. I love the brother interaction on this one. Like the words they use, it felt real and it felt personal this time. Like it like they were just talking to each other.
I agree. I wish there was a little bit more of a build to this. The fallout between these two guys was so hard, and the WrestleMania match, as disappointing as it was built so much, and then everything's okay. And again, like it's easier to forgive your brother than probably anybody else in the world. I'm assuming on that front. Not that
and your twin brother.
Yeah, 100%. And not that I've ever had that situation. Me and my siblings, or my sibling, gets along very well, and we've never had this issue where we fought each other at WrestleMania. Surprise. But like I wish there was.
I fought my sibling at WrestleMania. I did not.
No, that's not a thing. And you don't have a twin. But I wish there was a little bit more of a build to this where it wasn't just like, okay, you're right, this is silly.
Yeah. As predicted, the Tongans come in to jump them with Jacob, and the Usos end up standing tall in the whole situation. Jay eating the chair at him was a little nutty. And I was like, this is that was a little rough, but you know, Usos stand tall at the end. We get the good crowd reaction. We see them together, and then we get a match that I just wasn't interested in. This Kaiser versus Sheamus match. Why are we revisiting this feud again?
Because they don't know what to do with anyone outside the top. That's one of my things. Like we've lauded Triple H for his booking and all this stuff, and he's really good at booking the top of the card. And these storylines are cool. They keep going. I love the Kevin Owens and Randy Orton stuff right now with Cody. The Bloodline stuff, it could be better, but it's still really good. The women's division, the top of the women's division in SmackDown is great. I'm a little off on the women's division on Raw right now, and we didn't talk about it, but Rhea Ripley is now out.
Apparently she's written out. Yeah, she's hurt.
She broke her orbital bone. It sounds like that's not a work. I think I don't know if it was. I think the work story right now is that she was headbutted by Rodriguez. But I don't know if that's a work or not. But she's actually hurt, so she's going to be shelved for a little bit, and it just kind of waters that down. There's no one to step in that space, so like I don't know what they're going to do there. But so like what I'm getting to, the tag team division has no storyline, right? Just none.
It's just matches.
I will give a little bit of credit. I'm starting to get excited for the Wyatt Six versus the Final Testament and the Miz. Like they're doing something there, which is cool, and that's a group. Those are two groups. I think coming together will be much better than America Made. I think that these two going together, AOP are formidable men. Like they are big boys, and I can see them doing some damage with that group. But but everyone below that top storyline are along for the ride, and that's what these guys are doing right now. They're along for the ride.
Real quick, I want to touch on the Final Testament Wyatt Six storyline because they don't really do much with it this episode of Raw. They show Miz, and he's they have the interaction with him and R-Truth, but they have the scene where Miz and Karrion Kross and the Final Testament are talking. He goes, "So what's?" And Kross comes over and goes, "So what's the plan?" He goes, "Well, I think the plan is if we see the Wyatt Six, we run." And I like that they're making Kross come off as a badass again because he should be. He's 6'4". He's 250 pounds. He's built the way he is, and he looks the way he looks. And he can talk. And I like that he goes, "I thought you might say that, so I came up with my own plan. If this happens or you don't do it, I'll break your legs." And I was like, yes. Yeah. And like you saw the Miz get scared because like the way he said it, it was like, I'm gonna break your leg if you don't go along with us on this one. So I really like what they're doing with that. Again, just to touch real quick on this.
I like what they did with R-Truth. And is that in the show? I don't know. I feel like I might be ahead.
Yeah, it is in the show, and he's just, he's a hair less crazy. Like he knows what's going on.
Yeah, and like I hope that this turns into something a little bit more for R-Truth. Surprise.
Well, they're even doing it
more serious.
They're doing it on social media stuff too. Did you see the stuff they did in the gym with him in New Day?
Yeah,
that was really good too. Just to touch on the Kaiser Sheamus thing, I want to see Kaiser with someone new. Like this match wasn't bad, but we've seen it so many times. I don't want to see it anymore. Like Kaiser's the type of guy that probably should be getting built towards the IC title at this point. Actually built towards the IC title,
even if he loses it.
Or if they're doing something where they think that Gunther is going to lose the title, they need to build something where Gunther and Kaiser go after the tag titles. And I think that would be formidable. Like, that gives a little, an air of, because that was even the problem with Imperium was Gunther was awesome, but Kaiser and Vinci were jokes. They lost every week. Like you knew they were getting beat up.
They mishandled them substantially in that. That could have been a really good run for the three of them if they would have thrown the tag titles on Imperium.
Exactly. So moving on from the Kaiser Sheamus thing, we get a backstage segment with Jay, Sammy, and Jimmy. And Sammy to Jay, this isn't your fight. Is this the first time ever that Sammy is trying to stay neutral, like ever? Or he's telling someone else to stay neutral, ever? And he's not really staying neutral, but like, still.
Sammy being Sammy. I'm on to you, Sammy.
Some of these faces are not very facey. You know, like he claimed they weren't loosey, but he's not being very facey.
He has done some nefarious things. And I'm on to it. I see it. I might be the only one. I know that you and Hound are coming along now. And I know I went on a little rant on the Crown Jewel recap. So check that, or predictions. So check that out. But Sammy is a virus. And he goes into groups and he wants to be part of them. to just take them apart from the inside. He did it to the original Bloodline. He did it to Alpha Academy. He's probably done it to more people. Who knows what he probably did something to El Generico, the reason why we don't see him anymore.
Yeah. He's the bad guy. Kevin Owens is not the bad guy.
Maybe, and that's the whole thing, right? Like it's where Kevin Owens just kind of takes the heat for Sammy. I'm on to you, Sammy.
Yeah, he's left.
And now he comes in here when he was not invited to talk to the brothers in their family matter. And here he is. And then does he stay out of it after he tells Jimmy and Jay to stay out of it?
Nope.
No, he doesn't.
Suspect. So
just saying, for someone who's like, this isn't your fight, and it's really not his fight. Like, he's been away from the Bloodline for a while. He's one who has completely moved on.
Yeah. He's done so many other things. It's been 2 years.
And none of it has been with Jay.
No. Oh, man. It's hypocritical. Suspect, even.
It's not even hypocritical. It's suspect, yes. Because he wants everybody to dance for him like puppets.
So we get the next match we get is Ivy Nile versus Zelina Vega. I have a lot of questions on this one. It has nothing to do with the actual match, by the way. But if American Made are out there with Ivy, why wouldn't Ray and Dragon Lee be out there with Zelina? Instead, they send out LWO's actual tag team who hasn't wrestled in weeks or months even at this point. You know why? Because I'm coming along with you. I agree. Ray is an actual deadbeat.
Yes, come on. Let's be real. There's a reason why Dominic has turned out the way he has.
Yeah. Deadbeat. This is starting to be set up as, again, it feels almost like they are setting up Ray to actually be the deadbeat dad in this, because he's abandoning his adopted children now at this point for his new adopted child, for his shinier adopted child.
Favoritisms. Parents are not supposed to have favorites. And Ray only has favorites. Ask Carlito how that feels.
Yeah, exactly. Which is weird because I think Carlito's actually older than Ray.
Carry the one. Yeah, probably.
Or they're the exact same age. Ivy Nile ends up winning this. I liked it. Not that Ivy took the win. I think she at least out of that group could be some type of force. Could be.
Just gotta put some story behind her and build her up. Like
I like the Pitbull angle on her. Like, this is like, she doesn't need to be the heel, the lady heel that backs down. The only problem is she's not big enough to look like she can powerhouse Raquel or Rhea.
No, but she looks like she can powerhouse the smaller women and go in there and match strength with the bigger ones.
Yes.
So she's the perfect medium choice. Like, she's Goldilocks of this division. Because in her situation, it's believable if she could be taken seriously given the storyline. Like, I know, like, this whole Alpha Academy thing, I was really excited about this. And like, remember how much we talked about, like, the Creeds American are going to join. Yeah. American Made, the Alpha Academy into the American Made. They could really do it. And then they just kind of got stepped on. Like, What happened to Chad Gable? They built him to just put him on the shelf. I just don't. I don't understand the lack of continued storyline with some of these people where they're getting TV time, but not enough to like tell a story.
It's a little confusing. Something that's not actually confusing. We get Seth Rollins in-ring promo. You get Bronson kind of via satellite from the backstage area, because he says
from the parking lot.
And you and I both said this at one point. Why did Seth have a jacket over his jacket?
I mean, everyone's saying that. That's not unique to us.
We said it as soon as we saw it. Like, why was there a jacket over the jacket?
There's a meme going around. It's like when Seth Rollins takes off his jacket to reveal another jacket. That's everyone's saying that. I can't take credit for that, or you. But that's because that's Seth Rollins in his style, right? That's his fashion. I do like that he's not goofy Seth Rollins right now. I fear with this one, as much as everything else, this is leading to Seth Rollins squashing Bronson, and not squashing him, but like pushing him back down the card. Because like I think we need more monsters, more believable people. That's why the situation we're in with Cody right now, where it's unbelievable anyone really beats him, because we don't build anybody else up to beat him. Like Bronson is set to do that. Like they've already put the time in, and so let's have him beat someone that matters. And from this interaction, I could see them having Bronson go over. You know, you kind of hurt Rollins going into the match a little bit. They send him off to the hospital, and then they fight at Crown Jewel, where you set it up to a point where so Rollins not 100%, so he kind of still seems a little strong. But I do hate sometimes that everyone is protected. Like that's my biggest thing that I'm worried about for Crown Jewel is we're going to do champion versus champion, but none of the champions can look weak and lose normal. It's like, what are we doing?
Why are we doing this? Yeah,
and I think this will fall into it where it's either Rollins goes over on Bronson to make him look strong, or Bronson goes over on Rollins and Rollins isn't at full, so it doesn't put Bronson Reed over as much as it should.
See, I would like this to be the situation that you said with Jacob before, where even if Rollins wins the match, it's because Bronson Reed is so vicious during it that they have to overturn the decision.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Or like, yeah,
that's that is actually what I want. I want a situation where Rollins won the match, but he didn't win the match.
Or like they could double DQ on the outside because like Bronson looks up at the 8 count and he's like, whatever, I don't care, I just want to hurt him.
Yeah, and then jumps from the top rope through the table with a tsunami, and everyone dies.
Like that's a creative decision. That's not a cop out on building a person, and I like that kind of storyline more so than.
I'm staying optimistic because they've built Bronson Reed up so much to be this wrecking ball, and his stuff has been really interesting lately. I'm hoping that we go down that route. I'm believing in this.
You believe? Joe Hendry's not here.
Thanks. Now I have to add that picture into this video again. So we get the LWO versus the War Raiders and New Day. This is a 3-way to see who the number 1 contender is for the tag team titles. I like that the War Raiders came off with this. We kind of said that they should.
It's a good match. It furthered the New Day storyline of being not on the same page, even though some of the things that were done were the right things to do to like keep Ray out of the match at the end there. I thought this was a solid tag team match. I hope they do a nice little push for the War Raiders, but we'll kind of see what comes out of this.
I think they're going to win the tag titles, actually. Mm-hmm. I think if nothing else, it's good. I know no one wants. I don't know if no one wants to hear this or if everyone wants to hear this, but I think we're looking at the dissolution of the Judgment Day soon.
Yeah, because they've completely smashed them down, except for the fact that there was one way that I talked about on this show with you guys, or not. I know Ham was there, so it was probably a prediction thing on how disappointed I was on how they've squashed the New Day from a formidable team.
You mean Judgment Day?
That's what I meant. Sorry.
New Judgment Day.
New Judgment Day. Yep, that works. Oh, that would be a cool crossover. Bring in Xavier Woods and Kofi. I love it. How they put that down. The only way they could bring this back, and I think this was your point, Steve, was Dominic Mysterio winning the world title off of Gunther. And our next match, I know we're jumping a little bit here, was Dominic Mysterio versus Damian Priest. We'll get to that in a second. Go ahead, why don't you get through the next couple of little things here?
So the thing with the War Raiders, though, the reason why I think they're going to win the title is because Finn Balor is not focused on the tag team titles. He's still focused on Priest and wondering why he can't get his match with Priest. We get the the parking lot angle with Sami Zayn talking to Solo and Jimmy and Jay becoming mistrusting of the whole situation.
Yeah, because you can't trust anybody who's not family. But here's a fun fact. Solo Sikoa is your brother.
Can't trust him either.
What a dumb comment.
I mean, Solo trusts the Tongans, and they're not family.
They're cousins, aren't they?
No. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, they're not actually blood relation to any of them. Like, there's no.
Whoa. Don't. But they are like.
I believe there is some type of familial adoption, like The Rock calls Haku his uncle type situation.
And in that culture, and maybe I hope this is not just storyline, and I'm being ignorant, and I don't ever want to do that, so I'm sorry if I am. But in that culture, that means something, or at least that's what they tell me on WWE.
Yeah, that's what WWE tells me, and they're still fighting, and they're still fighting over a necklace. But we do get Dirty Dom Mysterio versus Damian Priest to prove that Dom can take out a former world champion to maybe set himself up for a world title match.
He's the number one contender in my book now, and Dominic Mysterio, with the most heat in the entire company, is going to be the one that takes down Gunther right after Crown Jewel. Ooh, it's going to be nice.
Unless he's dead, because he might be dead after this.
I don't care. He's wiry. He can do it.
He's wiry. My only thing with, and part of the reason for why I think they should dissolve the Judgment Day at this point, their whole thing was we're kicking Priest and Rhea out because we don't have leaders and they're acting like leaders. Well, the leader of the group is Liv Morgan right now. It's not even Finn Balor. It's Liv. Liv is leading this group, which also goes along with your whole idea that I'm just doing what I want to get what I want.
Yeah, she's the toxic one in this group, and she's the one trying to take everybody down. There's going to be a point where she walks away from Dom and just been like, hey, you know I was using you the whole time, right?
Yeah, like
I told everybody that I was going to do this. And then you just kind of fell for it. The whole time I was transparent. like I told you I was going to use you to take everything away from Bria, and here I am. Now I'm done with you.
Yeah, with everything. Or like he wins the world title and it's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then like goes with where like she's like the jacket in Boy Meets World in that one episode. It's like the girl goes with like the jacket.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna go with the world title at this point.
Makes sense.
But that's
like our built to Crown Jewel.
We guys check out our predictions for Crown Jewel. That will be that show is this weekend on November 2nd. Saturday, November 2nd is Crown Jewel. Let us know if you agree with our picks. Let us check out our reviews of both Halloween Havoc and TNA Bound for Glory. And we will...
A lot of shows.
There's a lot of stuff that just recently came out as far as our content goes. Also, as we've been stating, we will be having merchandise soon. I have been talking with varying people to make stuff for us. We're going to have hats. We're going to have shirts. Like I said, I'm starting to lean a little bit more towards us getting a hoodie. I'm not sure if it's a pullover or a zip up just yet, but we are going to do something like that. Showtime, you got anything to leave the people with?
Thank you for all your support. Remember, nonprofits, if you're in a position to donate, that would be really, really great of you. We appreciate all your support, and like and subscribe below. And Steven?
Guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.